morning, I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for 25 cents a gallon or more cash back on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code GEAR to earn 25 cents a gallon or more on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM/FM.com.
A good Sunday morning. We are starting off chilly across southeast Louisiana today. Afternoon highs are expected to climb into lower 50s, so we'll be much cooler than we were yesterday. Lots of sunshine in the forecast, and it is going to remain breezy through the afternoon.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV Chief Meteorologist Michelle Morgan. NOPD investigating an aggravated battery by shooting in the 7th District. It happened around 9:45 last night. Officers responded to a call of gunshots fired in the 10,000 block of Chef Mentor Highway off Reed Boulevard. Upon arrival, officers discovered 2 adult victims, a male and a female, both suffering from an unknown number of gunshot wounds. Both victims were transported to a hospital by EMS. No other information is currently available. Gun violence and a carjacking in Harahan. WWL's TV's Devin Bartolotta brings us the details.
Harahan police say a 15-year-old from New Orleans is in custody after an armed robbery and carjacking in Harahan. It happened this afternoon around 4 on Hickory Avenue near Dock Street. We're told the owner of the vehicle was run over during the carjacking and then taken to the hospital. We do not know their condition. The suspect then led police on a short chase before losing control and crashing. He was taken to the hospital as well. Police say the gun the teenager used was stolen.
WWL-TV's Mike McDaniel has an update on the recovery of a Zydeco singer shot last year.
A popular Louisiana musician is making his return after being shot during a performance last summer. Chris Ardoin was playing at the Zydeco Bike Fest July 30th when a still unknown person started shooting. Ardoin told our partners at The Advocate that his recovery was hard, not only physically but mentally as well. But the fourth-generation Zydeco musician says he's had a breakthrough and is ready to hit the festival stage again. He'll perform at a festival in Lafayette in March.
Here's Tim Zimmer with WWL Sports.
Hello.
The Cincinnati Bengals will head the Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, home of the Los Angeles Rams, their NFC opponent. And while it's technically a home game for the Rams, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow thinks the key to winning this game is handling the preparation leading up to it.
The Super Bowl in LA, everyone has all these distractions. You're going to get pulled in a lot of different directions. And I think, the team that handles those distractions the best is going to end up winning the game.
Kickoff for Super Bowl 56 is set for 5:30 p.m. and you can hear it right here on WWL. Tim Zimmer, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Sunday morning, everyone. We are starting off chill.
Okay, everybody's on board, so we're ready to go here.
All day. Temperatures are expected to climb into the lower 50s today, so much cooler than yesterday. We see lots of sunshine and that cold front, which actually brought the chilly temperatures today. Got a few showers this morning, but we are looking drier as we head into the afternoon hours. But the winds will stick around through the day, so it will feel much cooler. If you are heading out to any parades this afternoon, bundle up. Now, as we kick off our work week, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. If you are celebrating, it is going to be a cold start to our morning. In fact, light freeze possible north and west of Lake Pontchartrain, but we will rebound nicely with afternoon highs climbing into the lower 60s under mostly sunny conditions. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news talk sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers talk and text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. give us a call, 260-1870. Ask us your legal question, sports question, or your Super Bowl prop question, and we'll answer that. Good morning, Albert.
Hey, Doug, what's up?
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's up. So it's almost like this. We have a rooting interest, even though the Saints aren't playing.
Oh, absolutely.
99%. If you take Newman High School out of this, 90 because Odell Beckham went to Newman, 99% of Louisiana, I would say, is voting or rooting for the Bengals. So it's almost like we have a quasi-home team, even though they're Cincinnati. And so so it's sort of an interesting Super Bowl. I mean, I know 3 years ago when the Patriots played the Rams, I didn't even watch it. And it was good Super Bowls last year, but this year, I think everybody's like, okay, this is we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, you want to cheer against the Rams anyway, right? But
absolutely,
2 out of the last 3 years, they kept us out of the Super Bowl. One with the bad, the no call that wins the game for us. The other one this year, all they have to do is win the game in overtime, and they let a team like San Francisco, whose quarterback has been questionable as of late, come back and win the game against them. And so then the Saints don't go to the playoffs. Not that we would have gotten very far, but, it's so the Rams have been our spoiler a couple of times. So obviously, even if they were playing the Browns, I'd want the Browns to win.
If you really want to go back, the Rams were a spoiler when in 1983, Bum Phillips' third year, when we played the Los Angeles Rams, and I think Mike Lansford kicked a 41-yard field goal to win it at the end. That's back in the days of Kenny Stabler, Dave Wilson, and we really thought we were going to the playoffs. In fact, the Saints had the ball at the 32-yard line with less than 2 minutes to go, and they had Morton Anderson as his kicker, and they decided to punt. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
And
they did that with John Carney. Remember in the Chicago game in the playoffs, they decided to go for it on 4th down instead of kick a 48-yard field goal in the snow. And look, you got these kickers for a reason, right? And they're Morton Anderson. Is he in the Hall of Fame yet?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Rams are in our nemesis. And they used to be in our division, and California sort of wacko to begin with. So with Cincinnati is probably more like New Orleans as far as the People's Republic of California. I don't really pull for those teams very much, but
exactly.
It's interesting. They have a lot of great prop bets that we can talk about now. We had to talk about it like indirectly, I guess, before, because now gambling is legal. And so a lot of these now, as far as let's see, they have a lot of you have your typical prop bets about coin toss. Who's going to who's going to first score, first down, who's going to make more first down. Will it, there's other prop bets such as will a team score on their opening drive? And here's the deal that you can bet. Let's see, you can bet $100 to win $1,040 if both teams score a touchdown on their opening drive. But there's now here's one. Ooh, this is good. Opening kickoff return for a touchdown. You could bet $100 to win $5,000.
There you go.
I was all, or will there be a 2-point conversion attempt? Yes. You'd bet $100 to win $105. No, you'd bet $115 to win $100. The second question would be, would there be a successful 2-point conversion? You'd bet $100 to win $235. Unsuccessful, you'd have to bet $310 to win $100. Here's one interesting. Will any quarter be scoreless? Yes, you'd have to bet $330 to win 100, but no, you'd have to bet you'd bet $100 to win $500. So there's all kinds of great bets. Oh, here's another one. Would there be a safety during the game? You could bet $1,200 to win 100 for no, or you bet $100 to win $750. So that you got some great bets there. And, you look at these bets. There's only one person. There's only one person who's going to win. That's Caesars. Bet out DraftKings.
Exactly. Right. All the winners. Exactly.
So
they don't build those. They don't build those big old buildings. They don't build those big old buildings and casinos because I win.
Right.
They build them because people like me lose.
That's
I gotta
right.
tell you, I'll play a little football pool every once in a while or something like that. But to bet games, I don't know. I'm just, it's like going to the casino, right? I'll go and go have the buffet and look around and hang out at the hotel or something. But to sit there and put money in a slot machine or even to play blackjack or craps or something, if I win $1,000, okay. If I lose 1,000, I'm bummed out. The risk reward isn't there for me.
No.
So I just, it's just not. It's not worth it.
So, yeah, they're all. Well, there will be a lot of revenue for early childhood education programs for Louisiana because apparently 25% of the money that people lose will go to
yeah.
So
you feel like the original
feel
casino
good about losing your money that you're educating children.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Something just I don't know. That something just sounds interesting about that. Passing touchdowns over under 1.5. Passing attempts is 36.5. Longest pass completion over under is 38.5. 38.
It's 1.5 for a passing touchdown is the over and under.
Well, they have odds. If it's under 1.5, you could bet 145 to win 100. Over 1.5, you have to bet 200 to win 100. I'm sorry. Yeah, so that's so they have odds on it. You have to read these odds. Fortunately, my neighbor across the street taught me how to read bet sheets when I was 5 years old, so I'm pretty proficient at this. Thank you, Mr. Joe. But there's actually two Joes across the street who taught me. So basically, let's see, longest pass completion 38.5 is a true over under. You'd have to bet $100, $105 to win 100 under to bet under the longest pass completion being under 38 yards. Over 38 yards, you'd have to bet 100 to win 125. So there you go. That's just some of them. And feel free to call in. We'll give if you have a betting question. I will draw upon my experience as a 12-year-old growing up in St. Angelo Maurice Parish on telling you how to help you bet. But that's all I could draw upon.
Yeah. I tell you one thing about the Super Bowl, and it's more hype than game. I kind of wish they'd start the game at 2:30 in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then what happens is people want to have Super Bowl parties, right? So they have a Super Bowl party, and then everybody goes home to watch the game because it starts so late. It's a Sunday, it's a school night, right? I got to get up and go to work in the morning. So.
What about Super Bowl Saturday?
Having it on Saturday? Well, maybe so.
Then you can go Saturday night. I mean, you could go Saturday night, and then, you make your prop bets, and you win. You go to church the next morning. You thank God for the wisdom on betting on the right.
You go to church this morning and pray that your bets come in, right?
Right. Well, that's what Buddy did. That's what Buddy D did. He, he used to take clues. This is true. He used to take clues from what the priest was wearing. So if the priest was wearing a red garment, maybe during a certain season in the church calendar, he would bet on the horse. That was a divine sign from God that he should bet on the horse with the red colors. So I don't know whether it worked or not, but when I get to heaven, I'll ask.
Over at the Beau Garage, right? The Beau Garage.
At the Beau Garage. So, but there you go. You bring up a good point, because I think if you had the Super Bowl on Saturdays, it would work out better. I think your ratings would be higher. I think you'd have more of a atmosphere for parties. Then you can go to 10 o'clock on Saturday nights and everybody watch the game. It won't be a big deal. You just won't have any weddings on Saturday night throughout the country that year.
I just think life would be a lot easier. Honestly, we go to a lot of Super Bowl parties that have different Super Bowl functions here and there that we've gone to over the years, and we usually go home and watch the game. Because it's just you party all day long. You started at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and it's 5:30, and and now all of a sudden the game starts. I don't want to keep going till 10, and make it like a 10-hour marathon. So sometimes we'll leave at half. We'll see how the game goes. It's going to be fun. We're heading to a buddy's house for crawfish and shrimp. So I'm looking forward to that more than the game, I promise.
Before we go to break, do you have a prediction?
I think I like the Rams by 3. 27-24. As much as I want to cheer for Cincinnati, and just because the Rams have been there and Cincinnati hasn't in so long, I always pull for the underdog. But and I hope I'm wrong, but I think it's 27-24 Rams, and I think Cincinnati covers, because I want to say it's a 4.5 point spread. I think they cover the Rams, but I think the Rams win.
Well, I think the key will be whether Joe can get rid of the ball on 3 and 5 step drops, because he's going to get a lot of his offensive line will have a hard time holding up against Donald. And
here's the other half of it, that I think that the offensive line will get a number of holding penalties against for Cincinnati, because the last game he got sacked 9 times, and if you would have told me, look, he's going to get sacked 9 times, do you think they'll win? I would have placed the bet and said absolutely not. And look, he got up, went back to the huddle. He didn't get in anybody's face. He maintained his composure. And look, as an offensive lineman, you see that, you understand that, and you want to play harder for this guy. You don't want to be the guy that that's the weak link in the chain. And so they might make up in their lack of skills trying to hold somebody. So I'm just thinking there'll be a few holding calls that, for the bank. That could put him in a real hole.
All right. I hear the music. I think they want us to talk law.
Yeah, let's do
that. Legal. Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers on Super Bowl Sunday. We'll be right back after this free timeout.
Hey, it's Tommy Tucker, weekly morning workout with me and Dave Cohen between 5 and 10 a.m. You get the news, weather, sports, traffic reports you need. Plus, you'll find out what's happening right here in your own backyard, whether that's the East Bank, West Bank.
Okay, we're going live after Big Lou.
People who influence our communities, families, businesses, and of course, our country. Wake up the conversations that matter to you on the station that is all about you, WWL.
The NFL season all comes down to this: Super Bowl 56, with the Rams taking on the Bengals. To celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking all customers up with a risk-free same-game parlay. New and existing customers can place any same-game parlay of 3 legs or more in the Super Bowl, and if you don't win, FanDuel will refund you. Build your parlay your way with spreads, money lines, totals, Super Bowl props, and more. Like, for instance, what you could be betting on the Super Bowl: the color of the Gatorade. And then if you look at it, there's no better place than on FanDuel. It's the market leader, America's #1 sports book. They are the legitimate official sports betting partner of the NFL. You already have an account? Just place your risk-free same-game parlay before the Super Bowl to qualify. New customers join today with the promo code ABEAR at CCG enjoy 56-1 odds of either to win the Super Bowl, and you can turn a $5 bet into $280 in cash. That's promo code ABEAR on FanDuel Sportsbook app.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Refund is on the global tax credit and expires in 7 days. Tax refund $5 from a $7 customer return. FanDuel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Listen up, hurricane victims. If you filed an insurance claim in the past year, you were probably underpaid. Don't worry, even if you've already cashed the check, you can still get more money. Here's what some of our clients had to say after we helped them.
My insurance only wanted to patch my roof instead of pay for a full roof. Clearline told me, no way, you aren't getting away with that.
My best adjuster was horrible to deal with. Clearline solved that.
The insurance company looked out for their money, not mine. I realized real quick I needed someone on my side.
Insurance said I didn't have enough damage to meet my deductible. Clear Claims changed that and got me $43,000 over my deductible.
I was having a hard time finding a good contractor because my insurance didn't give me enough money. Well, now I have enough money to hire the most expensive contractor in the state.
Thank you, Clear Claim. You didn't end up costing me anything. You got me money I would never have gotten without you.
Make sure you get the most money possible and get every aspect of your house checked top to bottom. Call us. You'll be glad you did. 504-500-3000. Again, that's 504-500-3000.
So here we go again. Since Hurricane Katrina, the insurance companies have been raising our premiums and raising our deductibles. But now when we need our insurance payments to rebuild our homes and rebuild our lives, they're denying our claims and lowballing our estimates. This is Albert Nicaud, the Nicaud and Sunseri law firm in Memphis. Let us put our team of licensed contractors, roofers, and public adjusters to work for you so you can get your home and life back in order. Call me, Albert Nicaud, at 504-837-1304, and I'll make your insurance company accountable.
Fast relief coffee.
Did you know there are more pollutants inside than outside your home? Those pollutants can aggravate colds, asthma, sleep habits, and respiratory ailments. Keep safe.
Nobody's on the phone, huh?
Not currently. Call them today and save $250 off your new indoor air quality system for a healthier home for better breathing and for fast relief. Call Keep.
And now, electrical. Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you, even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
All things legal on WWL-AMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Open Heart Jewelers Talking Text Line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Got a couple of texts on our discussion last segment. It says, good morning. How does the state profit from sports betting? Basically, I think the state gets a 15% tax on revenue from sports betting. And basically, I understand that a portion of that goes to early childhood education. So I think of that portion, that's part of selling it in the legislature. Saying, oh, we're going to have betting, it's going to early childhood education. So you go to your daycare for your children, and you see casino tables and blackjack tables, you understand where the money came from. There you go. Start them early. Also, they said, when you bet 100 to win $105 to win 100, do you get your 105 back? No, the way it works is you'd bet 100 in this case. If you had a minus behind like 110, it would mean you bet 110 to win 100. That's the odds. Now, if there's a plus before the number, you would bet it might have plus 550, or let's say plus 130. You'd be betting 100 to win 130. So if you win, you get $130. If you lose, you paid 100. And that's something that is below 50%. But if you notice on the odds, there's a nice spread that's always built in for the house. So
Right.
that was my philosophy when I was a young man, that I would rather be on the house side.
Of course. Well, and it's different than if you just bet a game like, Saints -3 and you bet the Saints and they win. You bet 110 to win 100. If you win, you get your 110 back. If you lose, you pay the juice. And so, yeah. So, the casino always gets their little spread.
I like the casino across the street from my house always did well. So, when I was growing up.
Stockbroker getting a commission, right?
Uh-huh.
Like your stockbroker getting a commission.
That's right. That's right. We had a lot of stockbrokers in our neighborhood. So sports stock.
A couple of things, to change the. Are you done with the text?
I'm done. I'm done with the text.
All right. A couple of things we want to switch over real quick to Hurricane Ida. So I've never seen this, and I actually did search for cases, and I couldn't find any regarding the 180-day period from the occurrence to file a proof of law. There's a section in your insurance policy basically telling you what you must do after a loss. Preserve your property, do this, do this. And one of the items is, it's typically, 99% of them that I've seen say, file a proof of loss within 180 days of the event. Well, 180 days is February 25th. Okay, so if you have not filed your claim, they deny it, saying, look, you didn't file a proof of loss within 180 days, they can, file that motion for summary judgment and maybe win. I mean, they might get a court to believe it. So there's a Commissioner Donnellan, and here's something that's a little concerning, is that he's also he's our insurance commissioner, and it take me just a second to read this. This was just published on February 4th. It's a press release. It says Louisiana Insurance Commissioner Jim Donnellan is reminding policyholders about the upcoming deadline to file proof of loss for damage to Hurricane Ida. And this isn't flood claim. This is homeowners under your homeowners coverage. Most residential and commercial property insurance policies include a 180-day deadline to file a proof of loss. The 180-day period begins on the date of the insured event, and February 25th is 180 days after Hurricane Ida made landfall. So here's what Donnellan said: submitting detailed proof of loss is a key component of the claims process following a disaster. I encourage policyholders to make sure they provide their insurer with the documentation needed to process their claim in a timely manner and accelerate their road to recovery. Says that Louisiana law states when a catastrophic event occurs and federal officials declare state disaster or emergency pursuant to law, property owners within the declared area shall not have less than 180 days from the date of the event to submit a proof of loss. So what they're saying is Louisiana says we're going to give our policyholders at least 180 days to file a proof of loss. Insurance companies are saying in most of the policies, if you don't file your proof of loss, you're in violation of the policy condition, requiring you to file a proof of loss within 180 days. So I would at least get something in there. File a claim, make a claim, submit some sort of documentation if you've not already. And really and truly, the thing to do is get somebody over there to evaluate your property. I would think it's probably time you're 6 months out, hire an attorney to get it done properly. Make sure your proof of loss is on the high side. That includes all of your damages, and not on the low side that the insurance company likely sent you. But you just want to make sure that you have some proof of loss that the claims process is initiated. I got a client coming in tomorrow. Her husband passed away, got 30 or 40 properties that he owned and managed, and she's been dealing with his death and and he ran all that stuff. So she's trying to get it all together. I said, look, just bring it all. We'll organize it for you, get it filed, and make sure that you're in under the deadline. So she's just not had the time to even file claims for some of the properties that she and her husband owned together. That again, he managed and took care of, and fixed the windows and did whatever needed to be done. And so she was kind of at a loss. But I told her, just out of an abundance of caution, let's get in here and get stuff filed before the 180 days, so they don't have that defense or argument to make down the road.
Now, did they waive that? Did they waive that for Katrina? Was that different? Because I know they had the same provisions.
Yeah, they did. I don't know. I'm not sure. I knew a lot of companies. You just don't want to rely on that. You don't want to rely on because if you remember, we went to the meeting. We went to the meeting in the flood in federal court with the flood, all the attorneys and everything else dealing with the flood, and somebody says, but wait a minute, what about the 60-day proof of loss, or the 180-day, whatever they extended it to, the sworn proof of loss that you have to file with your flood policy.
Yeah.
And you could have heard a pin drop because everybody's like, oh my, proof of loss, we've never really had it. Right.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, I searched, the Western and everything else, trying to find cases that talked about insurance using that as a defense in a homeowner's policy to pay. And my guess is if that ran up the flagpoles for a court, the court would say, look, you've got an insurance company, you've got to show that you were somehow prejudiced by that.
Well, here's the other thing too. I think they could use it to fight bad faith. In other words, if you're asserting a bad faith claim, they would say, well, you didn't comply with this provision, so therefore you can't hold us in bad faith. That would be one.
You didn't even send us your stuff for 6 months, right?
Right.
So,
all right. Well,
we asked the insurance company, what is, how did you suffer as a result? How were you prejudiced by that? And their argument would be, we're prejudiced because we didn't get to see the damages before you fixed it. Or, your house has been in that situation for this period of time. You have a duty to prevent any further damage. Well, there could have been further damage that, we don't even know about because you didn't file a claim for more than 6 months. So
that would probably apply to someone who's not filed a claim for sure. Because a lot of times people file a claim, and then the insurance company came out and gave a low ball estimate, and they're trying to quantify their damages. So that's a good point. Well, I like to do things in a way where they can't even argue about it. So
no question. Out of an abundance of caution, get it filed.
All right, and I have a question for you on the other side about sworn proof of loss and advice, for homeowners who get this issue on a sworn proof of loss. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
WWL has your tickets to roll with the crew of artists on Mardi Gras Day. Win a pair of tickets to ride on a float, toys included, and be part of the greatest free show on earth. Listen to me, Newell Norman, weekdays between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. When I give out the Mardi Gras password, go to WWL.com/contest and register to win. Remember, you need to know that day's password to enter. The crew of artists Mardi Gras Day ride is powered by Go Auto. Get low-cost car insurance with Go Auto today. Let the good times roll, compliments of Steve, Newell, and WWL.
It's a Mardi Gras 2022 preview, powered by Turo Hospital. Here's how the good times will roll.
Parades are officially here, and things heat up next weekend, especially in Metairie, with Family Draw back on Bets near Causeway, with acts like Amanda Shaw, Sister Sledge, and Martina McBride. On next Saturday also, don't miss newer Metairie Parade, the magical crew of Mad Hatters, with Scoot from WWL Radio riding as Grand Marshal. And it's a full weekend next weekend uptown with Ala, Sparta, and King Arthur among the 11 crews that will be rolling. And those crews will use the new starting point of Napoleon and Britannia to Atlanta accordingly. Seidel has the crew of Titans on Saturday and Dionysus on Sunday. Let the good times roll. It's Mardi Gras 2022.
Turo is proud to be more than where babies come from. We're proud to be where New Orleans is. Celebrate our 100-year anniversary at Turo.com.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, is officially live in Louisiana just in time for the big game. To add to the excitement, DraftKings is giving new customers a special offer, such as $5 or more on any playoff game and win $280 in free bets if your team is up. All of DraftKings' great promotions and features, including same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code BIG870 and get 56-1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 or more and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's code BIG870 this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP. 7867.
Hey, it's Christian here. Are you having problems with your Hurricane Ida related insurance claim? Are you uncertain whether your insurance company is treating you fairly? You need home repairs? You need CJ Hewitt Construction, a local and licensed full-service general contractor. Unlike ordinary roofers, CJ Hewitt can handle the entire claims process and make sure you get what you deserve from your insurance carrier. Visit helpmecj.com. That's helpmecj.com or call 504-272-2323. That's 504-272-2323.
That's what I realized it's called a hamburger, not a handburger, because you carry it with your hands. I was wrong, people. It's like that time I thought I couldn't make the perfect app for football. I was wrong again, people. All I had to do was make a sportsbook app where you can earn secret rewards all Sunday long. Nobody's better at betting things than Caesars.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
Vinyltech is running siding estimates, and the warehouse is fully stocked with more material and supplies every week. Vinyltech's 20 reps are working around the clock for you. Don't wait 4 months to get work done. Vinyltech has materials now and are prepared to start on your home. Vinyltech has the most siding crews in the NOLA area. Call for your free estimate. We show up and get you done. 504-469-7590 or vinyltechnola.com. 504-469-7590 or vinyltechnola.com.
Louisiana has over 26,000 licensed companies that do business legally and meet the needs of our state. Before selecting a contractor, check references and verify the license at lacontractor.org. It's your money, make wise decisions, and protect yourself from being scammed.
Attention! This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repaired cars, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You can save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-741-0753. Vehicle protection plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call
800-741-0753 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-741-0753. What do you have to lose? Call 800-741-0753. Again, 800-741-0753.
I bought football tickets for my husband, and now I'm not football trouble. All I see online are articles and ads about football. I hate feeling manipulated. I downloaded DuckDuckGo, and I saw a difference right away. Get privacy online with DuckDuckGo.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyer, All Things Legal. You can also call us at our law firm at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304 on the North Shore 985-9697. Okay, Albert, I'm going to hit you with some serious questions that are sort of Hurricane Ida related issues. One is some insurance companies, after you submit your estimate or your proof, they ask you to sign a notarized proof of loss in order to receive payment. But you have already submitted the estimate and you've already submitted the information, but they want you to sign this extra document called a notarized proof of loss. Is that required for a homeowner's claim?
Well, technically, under the verbiage of the homeowner's claim, it says that, under your duties after a loss, right? It says submit a sworn proof of loss within 180 days of the occurrence. So technically under those guidelines, or those duties under the loss. Now, if you want to interpret this strictly, a contract, the law states that a contract is the law between the parties. So even if, they've kind of got you doing some things that are not just traditional, it is still the contract and it is still the law between the parties. And so unless it, it leads to some absurd consequence or it's against good morals or public policy or something like that, the court's duty is to interpret it as written. So if the adjuster asks you to do that, I would go ahead and do it. I would go ahead and go to a notary and just submit a proof of loss. Here's what my deductible is. Here's what this is. Here's what, these are my sworn proof, losses. Now, from a reality standpoint, you as a homeowner, I'm a 80-year-old lady. I got this house. I'm living on Social Security, and somebody comes by and gives me an estimate. You're telling me now that I have to swear that that's what my damages are. I have no idea. I'm relying on someone else. I didn't prepare the estimate. I didn't examine the damages. Some third party is coming along and submitting that for me, right? So is that really, my sworn proof? Because I can't swear to it. This is just what somebody told me my damages amount to, right? So, there are a lot of arguments against that being, even a legitimate request. But out of an abundance of caution, do yourself and your lawyers a favor. If they ask for it, I have one of all of my claims. I have one where it's an Allstate agent and Allstate adjuster, and they sent me an Allstate proof of loss form to be notarized. And so fortunately, we've got the estimate prepared. It's 4 times what theirs is, but I'm going to get my client in to come sign it, and I'll notarize it, and we'll submit it. We've already submitted the paperwork, but we'll submit it again, the form, just because they requested it. I don't want some defense lawyer cross-examining my client one day saying, well, look, here's your duties under the policy. They sent you this form and you failed to do it. And then your insured sitting there, your client's sitting there going, So I think you got to kind of play by their rules as much as you can, even though they don't play by the rules.
All right. Second question. This is common, happening. You've had in the aftermath of the hurricane, especially since you businesses and larger homes, you have these storm chasing restoration companies that come into your estate and say, "Hey, we'll dry out your business, we'll dry out your home, we'll do some remediation, we'll pull out some wet sheetrock. Sign here. We'll deal with the insurance company, and then and there's no price, there's no scope of work that's defined, and then later you get a bill that's out, maybe excessive, and that you had no idea that you were contracting to have that, to have that done for that price." The first issue I have to ask you is if these companies are not licensed with Louisiana Secretary of State or possibly licensed with the Contractors Board, how does that affect their ability to seek collection?
Well, first of all, that's if you perform work. Now, there's a couple of new cases about that. First of all, you have to determine whether or not a demolition contractor, if it's just demo, okay, is that considered construction of a new home? Okay, if it's just demo. Now, remediation's a whole different deal. If they go in there and they remediate mold and mildew, there is under the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors website, there is a provision that says that talks about remediation contractors and how they have to be licensed and all that sort of thing. So that's a different animal. But if it's strictly demo, the question is whether or not that's really part of, whether they have to be licensed to pull drywall out, wet drywall off the walls. But typically these companies that do come in, not that this is a ServPro issue, but companies like ServPro will come in and they will demo and they will, treat the studs and everything else, dry out the property, run the air scrubbers, do all that kind of stuff. And those are the ones that end up with exorbitant amounts because they charge a hefty price to get all that done. Back up, I know it's probably too late for this advice, but the advice is never let someone do any work on your property unless you have a written contract and you know what it's going to cost. And then if they say, oh, look, we'll just get it from the insurance company, then say, well, then here, write that in here, write that right here and sign it saying that you're going to collect the money from my insurance company and I have no liability to you. Okay. The other thing is the argument that you would have to them. Let's say that it is a remediation issue, and there are new cases that basically say that if you are unlicensed and you enter into a contract with a homeowner, that contract is null and void because it is in violation of the law, and you're not entitled to anything. You're not entitled to a penny. The law used to be, and again, it might still be, depending on what circuit you're in, but the law used to be that if you were unlicensed, then you could still make a claim for your materials and labor that you spent to get that work done, but you can't collect your profit. And that's how it's been for a long time. But there are a handful of cases now that have come out. The Margulies case, I think, and Margulies is one of them. But basically, it basically says that if you're not licensed, your contract is contra bonus morals, right, against good morals, and therefore it is void, and you can't collect under a void contract. Now, they would try to collect under something called quantum meruit, meaning, look, I did this work, you benefited from it, so you should at least pay me my cost. And that was the kind of the old school thought. It may still be in some circuits, court of appeals.
And I'm going to follow up with another question on that after the break. Justice Terry, Albert Nicaud, your Weekend Warriors, all things legal. We'll be right back after this time out.
Find podcasts in your platform on Odyssey.
As the award-winning Fresh Air with NPR's Corey Drew. Welcome. I love the show. And I care about these characters. I like them, but I care to see what happens to them. Or The 11th. Bringing you true, unexpected stories. And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghostwriter.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
It's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
You'll find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Anna Joy and Levine Hurricane Attorney. Call 504-470.
Okay, the last spot is Babbel, and we have no callers.
FanDuel Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, and we can't wait for the Rams to take on the Bengals. To celebrate, new customers can bet $5 to win $280 in cash on either team to win when you use the promo code ABEAR. That's right, you'll get your winnings in cold, hard cash, because we know cash is always better than free bet. Like a national holiday, that's how we view the Super Bowl. I'm looking at taking the Bengals in the point, or I might be looking at a prop bet who's going to score the first touchdown. There's no better place to bet Super Bowl 56 than on FanDuel Sportsbook. They have promotions for new and existing customers. They've got same-game parlays where you can combine small bets for bigger ones, tons of Super Bowl props, and more. Don't miss your chance to turn $5 into $280 in cash. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use the promo code ABEAR to make every moment in the Super Bowl memorable. Again, promo code ABEAR exclusively on FanDuel Sportsbook.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $280. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
Finding the perfect romantic gift she'll love is easy at Diamonds Direct this Valentine's. With an expanded selection of designer jewelry and our best offer ever, 5 years, 0 interest financing. Your love is always our passion at Diamonds Direct, but especially on Valentine's Day. So we're holding nothing back. Pick any item, get our best value price, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest financing. Everything's included. Diamond stud earrings, diamond eternity bands, layered necklaces, pendants, bangles, colored gemstones, and of course, the largest selection of diamonds and engagement rings in America. And this weekend, we're also showcasing all new collections from our top designers like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, and others. No matter what you choose for the one you love, you'll get the best price and 5 years, 0.
You'll have 4 minutes till the top of the hour news break.
Special pregame shopping hours 11 to 4. Get more details and even shop online at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Unapproved credit.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Glass jars can be reused to store food and spices, as a container for plants, or to hold combs and brushes in the bathroom. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Brandon Hawley here. Premium Windows. Professionally measured, professionally installed. ReliefWindows.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. Whether you want to learn Spanish for future travel plans, French to connect with extended family, or maybe German to land a new job, Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches you everyday practical conversations that you'll actually use. All you need is 15 minutes a day, and you'll be on your way to confidently speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel is designed by real language experts using a modern, conversation-based technique that makes learning fun, engaging, and best of all, memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases, then sentences gradually get more complex. Soon you're practicing conversations about real-life topics, and with 14 languages to choose from and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll be sure to learn what matters most to you. Babbel, language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oak Winhart Jewelers Talk and Text line 504-260-1870.
All right, we're back. Albert, we were talking a little bit about situations where you had these restoration companies, remediation companies, carpetbaggers coming from out of the state.
Right. Real quickly, let me follow up with two things. Just look something up real quickly on the contractor's website. So, the issue was whether or not somebody who's demoing your property would be considered a contractor. And under the definition of home improvement contracting, it means the reconstructing, alteration, removal or demolition, or the construction of any addition to any pre-existing, So basically, if if they are doing demo work above $7,500, they have to have a home improvement certificate. And then also, if it's $1 or more, and they are doing remediation to a building, they have to have a remediation license.
There you go.
Okay,
all right.
so yeah, you know.
Gee, I know we got a couple of minutes. I want to ask you this. We had a business in Kenner when they had a remediation company come from Kenner that unlicensed, not filed with the Secretary of State, no authority to do business. They filed a lien to secure their payment, which was undetermined at that time. In other words, they put a lien.
So that is the Ilgen case, ILGEN. And basically, the Ilgen case stands for the proposition that if you are not licensed, you have no right to file a lien against a residential property, for a commercial either. But yeah, but you have no right under the Private Works Act to file a lien if you are unlicensed, essentially for the same reasons. If you're unlicensed, then you don't enjoy the provisions and the protections of the Public Works Act to protect contractors, subcontractors, etc.
Well, and so basically, and, you know, a lot of these companies, you're very vulnerable right after a storm. You feel sort of maybe even a little panicked, anxiety, and you're looking at your business, you're looking at your home, and it's upside down, and you're like, okay, come in and, you know, let's clean it up, let's try it out, let's try to, you know, let's try to be able to, you know, mitigate some of these damages. And you're very vulnerable to time, and a lot of times, you know, these open-ended contracts from out-of-state remediation companies or out-of-state,
or even in-state, right? Even in-state, that you know, right? I mean, if they're not licensed, that's the first thing you check.
And so, you know, and then the next thing they'll say, well, we're going to lien your property, and you know, they start, which a lot is very intimidating to a homeowner after the disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have rights, and the law's on your side also in connection with those type of situations. So if you have a problem with
Correct. And also you have the
remediation without a license, and you have a lien against your house, you know, probably they can't do it. And so,
and also you can submit a demand letter for them to remove the lien within 10 days. And if they don't, then you can get attorney's fees by having to go file the writ of mandamus and direct the clerk of court to remove the lien.
All right, so, that's hour number one. That's hour number one. We'll be back for hour number two. Stay tuned for national news, local news. We'll be back for hour number two of All Things Legal. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Station LSU, WWL New Orleans, WWL FM 8110 in New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says President Biden and Russian President Putin spoke for about an hour yesterday as Russian troops remain amassed at Ukraine's border.
Well, the two presidents did instruct their team to remain engaged, so we will do so, and we will continue to test the proposition that we can find a diplomatic path forward.
You can catch the full interview on CBS Face the Nation. What is the U.S. doing in the event of the invasion of Ukraine? 3,000 U.S. troops are headed to join units already positioned in Poland and Romania, with 8,200 on standby to back up other NATO allies. CBS's Christina Ruffini. Canadian truckers say they're blockading border crossings into the U.S. in a protest over Canada's COVID restrictions. The mayor of Windsor, Ontario, says it's about more than that.
I would describe this as really just an anti-government protest.
How are those COVID booster shots holding up? Researchers now say the efficacy of a booster dose does decline against Omicron. Protection falls from 91% to 78% after 4 months.
So it really underscores the need for staying up to date on your vaccination against COVID-19.
Dr. Brian Dixon with Regency Institute says this study solidifies the idea that booster doses will be needed regularly. WTTV reporter Bianca Reyes in Indianapolis. A just released CBS News poll on the pandemic and the economy finds a majority of Americans think things are getting better, but they are not yet good. Among the findings, 47% of those surveyed said efforts against the pandemic are going well, up from 36% a few weeks ago. And when it comes to the economy, only 35% think things are getting better. That's not great, but it's still up 5% from last month. More Americans are turning to food banks as inflation has driven up food prices. This woman in Denver is grateful for the help.
The bank I go to, they give out tons of food, which is a blessing because without that, I don't think that we would be able to make it.
The U.S. Bureau of Statistics finds prices for canned foods alone are up by more than 30% over last year. A U.S. Olympic coach currently at the Winter Olympics is the subject of an investigation.
This all began when a former member of the U.S. Olympic snowboard team went on Instagram and accused Peter Foley of inappropriate behavior. She said in the past he took pictures of female athletes without their clothes and made sexual comments.
CBS's Steve Futterman at the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing. He also reports American Erin Jackson has become the first black woman to win a medal in speed skating. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
Susan, it's so great to finally be able to get together again.
Oh, sure it is. And I really appreciate you picking up the bill.
I'm happy to. I've got the extra cash. Since we've all been driving so much more again, I've been using Get Upside, free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
Over $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GEAR for 25 cents a gallon or more cash back on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or new gift cards for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code GEAR to earn 25 cents a gallon or more on your first tank. That's code GEAR.
WWL First News. I'm Tom Perumian on your official weather station, WWL AM, FM, and .com.
And this Sunday morning, we're starting off chilly, but that jacket, if you are heading out early today, you need it pretty much all day because temperatures are not going to warm up much. Even though we will see lots of sunshine today, afternoon highs are expected to climb into the lower 50s, but it will feel nice under that beautiful sunshine. And also, it's going to remain breezy through the afternoon.
Local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. A pair of shootings keeping NOPD busy. WWL TV's Devin Bartolotta has the details.
New Orleans police are investigating a couple of shootings. The most recent happened just after 4 in the 2000 block of North Treater Street. Officials tell us a man showed up to the hospital with a gunshot wound, but gave no other information. NOPD is also investigating an auto field in Claiborne. It happened around 12:30 near Claiborne and Elysian Field. We're told a woman was shot and taken to the hospital. If you know anything about either of these shootings, call Crime Stoppers.
Meanwhile, NOPD put on a show of force on the streets Saturday with a public roll call. WWL's Sam Winstrom reports.
New Orleans police officers gathered with uptown neighbors for a front porch roll call. It's an event where police officers meet with citizens where they live and let them know what's going on. But their real goal is to hear what people have to say.
Today, the amount of people that are really good turnout, we created dialogue between the officers and the citizens. We have plenty of questions.
Dozens of neighbors joined officers on a peace walk through the neighborhood, a show of solidarity in the face of a violent crime surge in New Orleans.
Meanwhile, a violent carjacking in Harahan ends in a crash. WWL TV's Mike McDaniel tells us.
Harahan police say a 15-year-old from New Orleans has been arrested after an armed robbery and carjacking in Harahan. It happened Saturday around 4 o'clock on Hickory Avenue near Dock Street. We're told the owner of the vehicle was carjacking. We don't know that person's condition. The suspect led police on a short chase before losing control and crashing. He was taken to the hospital as well. Police say the gun the teenager used was stolen.
This is Christian Garrett with WWL Sports.
Super Bowl 56 tonight in LA. It's the Rams and the Bengals in the big game. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow explains why he's so good against the blitz.
The receivers that we have, we find that we do get pressure, but then so fast that I'm able to keep getting the ball in space. So it does make it easy.
Kickoff is set for 5:30 right here on WWL. Christian Garrett, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
A good Sunday morning. You can start your morning. Grab that coat when you're heading out the door. You leave it all day because the highs are expected to climb into the lower 50s. So much cooler than yesterday, but we will see abundant sunshine. Unfortunately, it's not going to warm us up. So it is going to remain pretty breezy through the afternoon thanks to today's cold front, which actually brought us a few showers earlier this morning. But I do expect dry conditions through the day. If you are heading out to any toys this afternoon, tomorrow is Valentine's Day, and as we kick off the work week, it's going to be a cold start. In fact, a light freeze possible north and west of Lake Pontchartrain, so watch out for that. Temperatures are expected to rebound nicely Monday afternoon, climbing into the lower 60s under mostly sunny conditions. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Tom Perumian, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. Give us a call, 260-1870, or text us at the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line. Before we get back to Hurricane Ida issues, congratulations to LSU. They beat Mississippi State last night. Good win. They were up by 16, lost the lead in the second half, but they held them off. So looks like LSU is heading to the NCAA probably between a 5, 6, or 7 seed if they continue.
I got to tell you, it is to me one of the most undisciplined teams in college basketball.
LSU
very undisciplined. The point guard will dribble, and try to go in and shoot a basket over a 7-footer. Instant, he did it like 5 times in the game last night, and took a horrible shot. Fortunately, somebody followed up with a dunk after one of them, but they turn over the ball way too much. You're a homer, man. You got to watch it objectively. I want them to be great.
I am a homer.
I want them to be great, but it's just hard to watch. There are guys standing around and they're dribbling, and then one guy will pass it to this guy 5 or 6 times down the court. No one pass and a 3-point shot. Move the ball, move without the ball. They're playing man-to-man defense. That's picks away from the ball, gets people open, running offense. They're just athletic, and so they win games, but that's not going to get them very far in the tournament.
The defense in full court press is awesome. So they
I agree.
Then you have Pelicans. They got C.J. McCollum, which is a great trade, but now they got to figure out how to share the ball because you have.
That was my concern with that trade. Here it is. This team was gelling. You got a bunch of young players. Everybody kind of started figuring out where the other fellas were going to be on the court. And now all of a sudden you got a McCollum who is a point guard, but so is Devontae. And then you've got Brandon Ingram, who's a similar player to McCollum, although McCollum's about a 3-point shooter for sure. He's 40% from the 3-point line. So it's just like you said, they got to figure out how to share the ball. We hear they had a 4-game winning streak, albeit 3 in a row against a not very good Houston team. And they were playing well. They were enjoying it. They were gelling. The kids were getting playing time. And then they got McCollum to kind of disrupt that. And they're 0-2 since he's been since he's been a starter.
Before we go to Bob on the line, I want to say this about the Pelicans and Mardi Gras. I've talked to a lot of businesses who used to have Pelicans tickets, and this is in connection with that video with the kids doing the donuts and the circle. Is that they don't want, they're like, the first and foremost reason they don't go to the Pelicans game is because of fear of safety. They're like, I just don't want to go down to the Superdome. I don't feel safe. I don't want to send my customers down there, and I just don't feel safe. And we're doing a little thing for a crew of Knicks at Gallia Hall, and I sent out a bunch of invitations for people to come. The number one reason for not coming is safety issues. And so when you listen to the news breaks, and seeing the mayor hiding under a desk when it comes to crime, and everything else, it's costing the city a lot of money, and it's just a horrible thing that the two things that bring together New Orleans is sports, professional sports, and Mardi Gras. The number one thing in their mind right now, unofficially, is we do not want to participate, or we're hesitant to participate because of the crime problem, and nobody's doing a damn thing about it. So, it's just interesting.
Two comments on that. I'm 60 years old. One time in 60 years, we took our kids to Disney for Mardi Gras. One time. I've always stayed for Mardi Gras. I'm not going to Mardi Gras this year. I'm not going to any parades in Orleans Parish. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. You think I'm going to park my car 3 blocks from the parade route and have a smash and dash, come back, my windows are smashed in, whatever's in my car is removed. And you call 911, they're going to laugh in your face. Oh, all the cops are on the route. All right, just take pictures and, come down to the station and submit a report. I'm not doing it. And like you said, and here's the other thing, we're just listening to the little news segment at the top of the hour. They said there was a shooting. Somebody shot at these 2 people, and they called it an aggravated battery. When you shoot a gun at someone, they need to be charged with attempted murder. It's not aggravated battery. It's murder. And so, why would you give a lesser charge to someone who's shooting guns at 2 people? It's just craziness. The criminals are the victims for some reason, and it should be the other way around. We can spend a week.
It's just hey, I just urge people, to say, hey, look, we're not tolerating this anymore. Encourage the mayor from getting from under a desk. She'll get out from under a desk when it comes to mask against law-abiding people, but when it comes to crime, which is ultimately a lot more dangerous, she's a no-show. And so, in the rest of the administration,
she has no answers. It's an unbelievable lack of leadership. She has no answers. Period.
And our city's dying.
She's not going to respond. She's not going to say, "Hey, look, parents, take care of your kids. Keep them off the streets. Don't let them go out at night. Search their rooms. If they have a gun, confiscate it. Turn it into police. Do whatever." Those are the kind of steps that need to be taken. And she's the leader of the city. Let her make those recommendations to the parents, and let's start in the home and discipline these kids and make sure that and keep them in the house. Don't let them go out. Look, you're 15 years old. What are you doing out at 2 in the morning? Where's your mom? Where's your dad? Where are your parents? Where's your aunt? Anybody that has any responsibility for you, let's start demanding personal responsibility for ourselves and our children. And then maybe then that will help curtail some of the activities.
You say death by 1,000 cuts, death by 1,000 shots. And so that's happening. All right. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Bob. He's got a contractor's question. Hey, Bob, you're in All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud.
Good morning, John. Your last conversation about the contractors out of state really sparked what in my mind. In a nutshell, I have State Farm, I had roof damage, and I had some small leaks, so I needed a tarp. My neighbor across the street had a tarp coming over to put a tarp on. And so I called the company, and they said, you need to get a claim number. So I called State Farm up and talked to the lady, and I told her the situation, gave me a claim number. And I said, should I go ahead and put this tarp on? And she says, State Farm says, yes, go ahead and get it done. So I'm thinking they're going to pay for it. So they put the tarp on and whatnot after I was going to get a claim number. Probably 3 weeks later, I get a bill for $50 in the mail for $2,000. And the kicker of it is that when they never gave me the fee, they never gave me a price, contract, and company. They had me sign, I know, blank iPad screen, okay? I'm thinking, okay, the State Farm is still good, okay. So, anyway, so I ended up paying the $19.50, but evidently the $19.50 to them got a lien on my house. And they sent me a letter saying, yes, thank you for your lien on the $19.50, however, $500 for the lien you put on your house. My banker, sure enough, I had a lien. So I ended up paying for the lien. I have not yet received any kind of, type of paperwork saying that the lien has been released on this thing. And the ticker is they have not cashed in my check, and it's been over 2 months. And I'm trying to close this account because it's a HELOC loan account that I paid through. And I want to, I want to get rid of my homeowners and go with the lesser insurance. I can't close the account until the check is cleared. So I think it's like a good plan.
Well, I mean, I think there's a couple of things you can do is, from a pragmatic standpoint, if you want to close the HELOC, you may be able to put $1,000 aside or some amount of money for the value of the lien and have that held in escrow or some more money in order to close it. That for the short term.
Yeah, I talked to my bank about that, and he said it doesn't work that way. At least that's what he said.
Okay, yeah, sometimes they will do
that. They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I guess the other aspect is,
I guess my question is, if they're not licensed in the state, and how can they put a lien on the house?
What I would do, honestly, I would
back on them under charge of the $2,000.
I would stop payment on both of those checks. I'd stop payment on both of those checks. When they go to deposit them one day, they'll see a stop payment notice and get back in touch with you. And then all of a sudden you can negotiate with them. Because at that point, hey, look, it's an illegal contract. You're not licensed in the state. Now, granted, it was not over $7,500, so they don't necessarily have to be licensed to do that work. They do have to have a license to file a lien. And so, at least with respect to the $500 and the lien that was filed, you can get a form to have the lien removed. But it's a problem. I would negotiate and deal with them after the fact on that. What did State Farm say? What did State Farm say about payment of the $2,500, $2,400?
Well, State Farm has a supposed software they use for state rules and how to use the price tarp. Another thing that bothers me is my credit. I have an excellent rating of credit. I don't want some kind of bad credit because of not paying these people something,
Yeah, I would stop payment on it and then they'll come back. Look, they fly by night, tarping company. They're not going to report you to a credit bureau. It's not like Walmart, you didn't pay a bill, or it's, some major company where that's just part of their procedures. They're not going to report you to Experian and any of these other reporting agencies. They're going to try to maybe come after you for the money, and then you say, hey, look, I'll pay you. What does State Farm pay you? Do they pay you the $2,400 for the tarp?
State Farm included the $2,000 amount of the tarp in my deductible.
Okay, so then you've been compensated for that. So granted, it's a deductible, but it's been considered part of the thing.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing that gets me is if you look at a contract that they said I signed, which I never signed, because I never saw it, my signature is like, half inch long, which there's no way I've signed a
Oh my
contract
goodness.
like that.
Yeah.
You saw the signature, you're like, this is
Well, what they do is they just What they do is throw a lien on your house, and they say, and then they hold you hostage like you are right now to your HELOC. I would, if your problem short term as far as getting it off so that you can get your loan. My recommendation would be, like Albert said, stop payment of check, get a letter to them saying that, if you don't take this lien off, we're reporting you to economic crime, attorney general, and say, and scare, maybe I won't say scare them, but let them know that some of the things.
You can send a letter saying if you don't remove it within 10 days, then I will get an attorney and you will have to pay my attorney's fees to have it removed under the law.
Also too. Because on those unlicensed contracted issues, a lot of times I'll CC the economic crime unit, the Jefferson Parish, and just to let them know that if you don't deal with this, that's where we're going next for something that's illegal. And I think it's personally for an unlicensed contractor to illegally put a lien on someone's house right after a hurricane without consideration. It would be something maybe that they may want to take up at some point. I don't. It would be up to the enforcement agency, but that's the type of thing that they, that law enforcement tries to discourage.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. Okay, let's go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers, all things legal. We'll be right back with this big comment.
When you listen to Scoot, you're listening to Rock and Roll History.
Today, in 1971, on this day in 1990, I'll never forget the way I felt the morning.
Scoot's rock culture calendar has everything you remember and some things you don't. From legendary concert appearances to personal tragedies, he covers it all.
I've never played this record on the air for the first time and knowing it was going to be a huge hit.
It's a perspective on the history of rock you can't get anywhere else from someone who's lived it.
Honestly, I'm lucky to be alive.
Scoot on the air, weekdays 1 to 4 on WWL. Attention, this is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs, and the price of gas, people are keeping their cars longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-741-0753. Vehicle protection plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free...
All right, we have three holding right now. We have Corey from Homa, who has a question regarding Hurricane Ida. We have Lee from Metairie, and he has a question about verbal abuse. We have John, also from Metairie, who has a contracting question.
It'd be odd for husband to look at one time. Feeling like I'm being watched. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy with DuckDuckGo.
LA 121-2474, offices in Baton Rouge.
The NFL season all comes down to this. Super Bowl 56. With the Rams taking...
All right, we have a CJ Hewitt commercial followed quickly by Causeway Touring Company, and we'll go live.
Customers can place any single game parlay or 3 legs or more in the Super Bowl, and if you don't win, FanDuel will refund you. Build your parlay your way with spreads, money lines, totals, Super Bowl props, and more. Like, for instance, what you could be betting on the Super Bowl? The color of the Gatorade? And then if you look at it, there's no better place than on FanDuel. It's the market leader, America's #1 sports book. They are the legitimate sports betting partner of the NFL. You already have an account? Just place your risk-free same-game parlay before the Super Bowl to qualify. New customers, join today with the promo code ABEAR, that's HEBERT, to enjoy 56-1 odds on either to win the Super Bowl, and you can turn a $5 bet into $280 in cash. That's promo code ABEAR on FanDuel Sportsbook app.
21 plus in Preston, Louisiana. On the global sign credit that expires in 7 days. Next refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770.
up.
No way, man. You're not getting by me. You sure about that? Nice basket. Man, I ain't slowing down as I get older, but you're unstoppable. What's your secret?
I gotta tell you, taking Nugenix Total T makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix, that's the testosterone booster. You see on TV, right?
Yes, this is a legit product. The patented key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone and total testosterone levels and increase energy and lean muscle mass.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, you should check it out. Nugenix Total T is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more endurance. And like the TV ad says, feel like you do.
I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
Just send them a text. Text TEAM to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now to include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermal, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help get you back into shape absolutely free. Text KING to 321321. That's KING to 321321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Hey, it's Christian here. Are you having problems with your Hurricane Ida-related insurance claim? Are you uncertain whether your insurance company is treating you fairly? Need home repairs? You need CJ.
Okay, here we go.
A local and licensed full-service general contractor. Unlike ordinary roofers, CJ Hewitt can handle the entire claims process and make sure you get what you deserve from your insurance carrier. Visit helpmecj.com. That's helpmecj.com or call 504-272-2323. That's 504-272-2323.
Where do you go when you want to sell your pre-owned Rolex?
All things legal on WWL. Involved with Nicaud and Sunseri now on the Oakland House Jewelers Talk and Text line. 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, Weekend Lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Corey at Homa. Got a Hurricane Ida question. Hey, Corey, what you got for us?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right. I got my first scope of law from the insurance company. I pretty much told them that it was garbage, and I whined and complained the first day, and they sent me another $10,000. And they pretty much told me that the guy that came out there did a bad job because he had so many jobs to do. And then so I need to get a contractor for supplement everything. So I got a contractor to come in there and write an estimate up on what, the price is going to do everything. And we submit it to him, and then all of a sudden, the measurement area comes to my house, and they got all these measurements from the inside of my house, and it doesn't add up to what the contractor put in there, because he didn't even add the kitchen up. And it was like 150, and theirs was like 127, this kitchen. I verbally got a line about the roof, they approved the roof in an email on the 10th of last month for a certain amount, and a month later, when the roof was put on, they picked it back and put it for like $3,000 less. I mean, is there something I can do? Like, because I don't know going forward with them, if I could even trust them in depreciation or anything like that back in the house whenever I go to fixing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How far apart are you? How far apart are you between your contractor's estimate and the other estimate, their estimate?
Well, so the contractor, we didn't even put in the kitchen on there. And I was reading the second scope of loss, and, I was like, man, I confronted the insurance company. I was like, I said, y'all told me to do all my due diligence and all of this on there. And I said, on y'all scope of loss, it says to rip out everything in this house. I said, we didn't even add the kitchen in there. And the Friday before, when we submitted it, I talked to him. He was like, well, you said the kitchen was good. I said, yeah. But on y'all paperwork, the kitchen was bad. Y'all said to rip out the kitchen. So we're going to have to relook at that and have to send something else in for that. And it was like, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do no more supplements. That's all these supplements that you can get, It's going to have to be really, really, really strong for you to be able to get anything more on doing this. And I'm like, well, this is something y'all wrote on, and we didn't even add the kitchen into the house,
Well, I mean, I think what you have to do again is quantify your damages from your end fully to the penny. and throw that into the insurance company's lap and say, this is what we want, pay what's undisputed. And then at that point, the ball is in their court. I think one of the things you probably want to stay away from is arguing about their estimate and, sort of cherry picking it and get your own estimate that you incorporate all that in there. So I think that the key would be to get your damages quantified to the penny. Now, you can incorporate what they put in their estimate as part of your estimate or your contract. I'm sure would do that. And then you get that number. It might be 170, 175, and have it very detailed, and you throw it on their lap and say you have 30 days, to pay what's undisputed. And then, that's what I would do at this point, because a lot of the times I think homeowners get in a trick bag, and the insurance companies are glad to play along. Is when they get an estimate, you argue about something that's on their estimate or that's not on their estimate, and come out, take a second look, take another, rather than saying, hey, I'm gonna take that information, I'm gonna make my own estimate, I'm gonna throw it in your lap, the ball's in your court. All right. If you want to come out and do a reinspection, so be it. You want to send an engineer out, so be it. But the clock is running. And
I had them do that 2 weeks ago. They couldn't make up my estimate. Like I told myself, I don't know if they work. I'm too scared to say anything on that.
Well, but you see, you probably have to have a little different mindset. It's not up to them, to the insurance company, that, as Bill Responding would say, they're not your friend. Okay, they're not going to establish your damages. You go in there and establish your own damages, and you throw it in their lap, and don't rely on the insurance company. To put it in their lap and have the clock ticking while they decide whether they're going to pay for these particular items.
What about them approving my lease a month later, right before the lease was on, disapproving it, and days before it was on, they approved it, then they sent me my final law.
Well, what you're going to do is just you fix the roof and then bill them.
Yeah, it's fine.
So that's what it is. That's what it costs. It doesn't cost what they estimated it to cost. It costs what it costs when what you were billed. So again, you take that information and you quantify it in a way where you throw it in their lap. I say, we don't care whether your estimate's $15,000 or not now. I've spent $18,000 for this roof, and this is how much we want you to pay.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like my tile and my floor, they have the water pouring in. I don't realize that fungi and get out of the floor. And so we disputing over the floor in the house too,
But I think again, if you tie it up in one estimate, it's a lot easier to deal with the insurance company rather than piecemeal.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Everything at one. That was the 167 that we submitted with everything in there. And then they came back with, we're going to add the kitchen in now that you got me, on my paperwork. So we're going to give you 127. So it's not even.
Well, take the 127 and get started, and then you might have to seek help to get the remaining. Okay, take that 127 because they have to pay it. It's undisputed, and then they have to seek help, and then you may have to seek help. Okay.
And like for the kitchen cabinets, they want me to take the cabinets off the wall and put them all back on. Same thing with the granite. Everyone I talked to has told me that it's probably be done, but it won't be put up the same way it was.
No, I don't think you have to put back impaired cabinets. When they've been damaged. So again, take what they're willing to pay you as an undisputed tender, get started, and then get back with them on the remaining. If they don't want to pay, like I said, you're going to have to get help, probably.
Well, it's almost at the point where the house you know what I mean?
Well, what is your? I mean, if your policy limits are, again, I think it's on you take the money they're offering. Okay, it's an unconditional tender. Get started, and then when you get it, when you get that in, you continue to fight for the rest. They want to see if you're still standing in a year or two.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Or you throw up your hands and give up.
They've been pulling me along for 4 months, saying this guy did a terrible job at what he did. I said that. I asked for different people to come out. And then, like I said, all of a sudden the measurement day comes and you got all of these measurements. So you've been lying to me for 4 months. When, like you said, I could have had my house started. I just didn't want somebody handing me a $30,000 bill when it's all said and done. Saying, hey, Mr. Landry, your insurance pays $100 and you owe me $130.
Take your money that you have, get what you can started, and then you're gonna you may need help to get the rest. But if it's damaged, and you're still standing, then you'll have to. They'll deal with you, but they want it's an endurance test. Okay, but the ball's in your court, though. You got to remember that. And just quantify damages, take what they get, and fight for the remainder.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely
all right, my man. We got to take a break. All right, give us a call at 837-1304-504, 837-1304. If you got any more questions, we're glad to help you. Let's go to break. Sunseri, Albert, Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. We'll be right back after this brief comment.
Hello, friends. We know you're busy. That's why we make it easy to listen to WWL where you want, when you want. You can hear us live, on rewind, or on demand at WWL.com or on the Odyssey app. We've got all your favorites. You can listen to the full show, just the interviews, or hot highlights from each show.
Okay, we have Lee with verbal abuse from Metairie and John with a contract question.
Let's go with John. Let's go with John first.
Miss a minute of WWL. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, is officially live in Louisiana just in time for the big game. To add to the excitement, DraftKings is giving new customers this special offer. Bet just $5 or more on any playoff game and win $280 in free bets if your team is victorious. Head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now to check out all of DraftKings' great promotions and features, including same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code BIG870 and get 56-1 odds on any team. Bet just $5 or more and win $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's code BIG870 this week at DraftKings Sportsbook.
21 and over is only present in Louisiana. Eligibility varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP. 7867.
In New Orleans, a one-of-a-kind love deserves a one-of-a-kind engagement ring, and it's from Oakland Heart. At Oakland Heart Jewelers, our diamond experts offer a ginormous collection of unique and popular engagement ring styles, many created by our own award-winning master craftsmen. And for generations, we've made the engagement ring shopping experience in New Orleans one-of-a-kind as well. Sure, Oakland Heart is luxurious, but we pride ourselves on being warm and down-to-earth too. And we're always honored to be included in the milestones in your life. You share your excitement with us, and we'll share our knowledge with you. Listen to this online review from Michael and Brenna. Oakland Heart, you're amazing. I not only had the pleasure of picking out my fiance's engagement ring, but we had an amazing experience creating her wedding ring. She had this beautiful idea they made into reality. And did we mention we offer interest-free financing? There's a great work of
Okay, we got one more after Big Lou, and we'll go live.
Here's what hurricane victims say about public adjusters.
How are you able to fix your house so quick after the hurricane?
Well, we had a public adjuster handle our insurance claim for us. They got us paid quick.
Yeah, I've been fighting with my insurance company for months now.
I was going to hire a lawyer, but a friend recommended we try this way first.
Oh, really? Why is that?
They say a lot of the lawyers use them to write estimates for maximizing claims.
Well, I'm tired of having different adjusters all the time. Do you think they can help me? I've already passed my first insurance check.
Of course.
Are they expensive? I may not be able to afford them.
Not at all. They never ask you for money. They only get paid out of the additional money you weren't going to get paid without them. So they don't end up costing you anything. If they don't accept your claim, they don't charge you anything.
Oh, well, that's a no-brainer then.
That's what I thought too.
If you had a hurricane claim, you need clear claim on your side. They work for you, not the insurance company. You literally have nothing to lose, only money to gain. Let them review your claim to see if you can get more. Call 504-500-3000. That's 504-500-3000. Odyssey is currently accepting applications for all of our local radio stations, including WWL. We also invite college students to apply for internships with our station. If you're interested in a career in radio or an internship, please visit odysseyinc.com/careers or call 504-526-3000. Odyssey is dedicated to providing a broad outreach regarding job vacancies at our station. Organizations that wish to receive our job postings are invited to contact us at 504-526-3000. Odyssey is an equal opportunity employer.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou, a term provider, 800-568-2790. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems. If you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-568-2790. That's 800-568-2790 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-568-2790.
Cincinnati and LA playing the big game today.
Here we go.
You can play for $10,000 with BetQL's Giving Props Contest. Pick which players will go over or under, and the most right answers can win $2,000. Everyone who registers has a shot at the $10,000 grand prize. Props, picks, profits. It's BetQL's Giving Props Contest. Totally free to enter, so make your picks right now. Get started by texting props to 20357. That's props to 20357.
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com, and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Open Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your lawyers, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to John. He's got a question regarding contractors. Hey, John, you and all things legal. What can we do for you, brother?
Hey, Doug. How y'all doing? Let me ask you a question. The state requires that all state services have a license, insured, and we do it all the right $500 for improper cash and all kinds of different things. They just, they're really strict on the state companies on what we have to do, which is great. But during the storm, after that spring, what has happened is these companies that are coming in after the storm, they come in, no insurance, no license, they just butchering stuff, they get paid by the trucker. So what they do is they come in and they do all this work and they don't do a thing about it. And after Katrina, we had this problem where it dried up on all the tree companies for 2-3 years, but we would have had a ton of work. Because these guys come in here and butcher everything up and put down everything they could to get paid by the truckload. So my question to y'all is there recourse against the state? Because I've had other tree companies approach me about it already, saying, hey, we can see all this nasty rock stuff that's all we need. It was done by out of state companies. It's going to be private. Is there any recourse on the state from and us go through all these laws and licenses and just letting somebody come in and cut all this stuff out that has no license?
Well, one of the problems you have is, it's a licensing board, right, that would police that. So it's a licensing board. They only have so many investigators, and they don't have as many investigators as they do unlicensed contractors doing what you're saying they're doing. I do know in Jefferson Parish, that they are enforcing the criminal aspect of non-licensure. A lot of people are unaware, but there's a criminal statute. It's titled 14202.1. And basically, it's a laundry list of things. And the title of the statute is called residential contractor fraud. And there is a jail provision, and there is also a restitution provision, basically saying if it's X amount, you owe double the damages, or it's a formula. It's all spelled out in the statute. And I do know that the contractor fraud division in Jefferson Parish is enforcing that. I believe they're doing it in St. Tammany as well. Orleans, they're not putting murderers in jail, so I doubt that that they're going to even be dealing with it. But the question is, do you have a cause of action against the state? The answer is probably no. I mean, who's going to file suit against the state for not, hey, look, I've got to have somebody tell me about it, and I refuse to prosecute it. Well, there's a lot of discretion involved with these attorneys general across the state, of the district attorney's offices across the state, and so no, you really don't have a claim against the state for doing that. But it's incumbent upon you to tell the right people. It's incumbent upon you, like if you're in Jefferson, and look, other parishes have this same law. It's a state law, and so they have the opportunity to enforce it and investigate it. And if it's happening to enough people in their parish, that DA wants to get elected again, right? So my guess is he would take some action, but that's the place to start.
Well, Albert, I noticed they're not doing anything. It's happened to a girl in Jefferson Parish. Guy out of Mississippi come in there. He did 2 small jobs on a neighbor, took this girl for $17,000. And she went after him. He walked out with her half the money, and she followed him to the end of the earth. Come to find out, it's a company out of Mississippi. Guy lives in a trailer. He's got no money, and the parish did nothing about it. So it's a civil matter. They can't help us.
Did you go to the district attorney's office? Because there's a couple of assistant DAs. There are a couple of assistant DAs over in Jefferson that are pretty tenacious about it. I would go to the district attorney's office in Jefferson Parish and report it and say, look, this is the deal. Now, one of the problems is you're looking at someone from out of state, and so it's a harder aspect, right? But let me tell you, you threaten to put them in jail or have them extradited here for the crimes they commit, they find their checkbook pretty quick, and they don't want to go to jail or pay a criminal lawyer or pay all those fees and fines. And so, they start bugging their uncle and their this and that to try to get you paid off and get you straight. Again, those are some things that it's on the books, and, it's prosecuted by certain people. And look, we've said this from the beginning. We got on early, and we're telling people over and over again, hire local. You might have to wait a little longer, but hire a local licensed contractor. Same thing with with your lawyer. Hire a local lawyer. Why are you gonna go deal with these out of state law firms that engage one local counsel just so they can have an office to set up? You want these people around. You want them to be here when you have to file the claim and it gets removed to federal court, or you have to file the appeal, instead of these, hey, we're just going to settle you quick and get you a quick check and go back to our home state and carpetbag you, and hire local contractors and hire licensed contractors. And that's been our recommendation from the beginning. And we can only give advice. We can't make the horse drink, right?
No, Albert, I completely agree with everything you just saying. It's frustrating as a freight company. And we're still busy. I've been around for 30 years. But there are 2 companies that called me. They're like, man, after Katrina, we just dried up to absolutely nothing. There was no work. They come in here illegally, took all of this easy work, took us down and were unhealthy. I mean, they were healthy, and just to load their trucks up to your front yards, and it just really put a hurt in it. And, you know, and I can see where it's going to get to that because it's just a bunch of nasty stuff. We're still busy, us. But, you know, it's just ridiculous that you have to go through all these laws, regulations, and in the long run, it is going to affect us because it's going to dry up at some point again. And all of that work that, you know, would have been ours, even following all the laws for all these years, it's not going to be there anymore.
Yep. I've got good friends that own the carpet business. And, you know, I made it very clear in year one, they made so much money in that first year or so because after Katrina, because that pretty much flooded. And I said, guys, you gotta store your nuts because everybody's getting a new floor right now. And there are going to be some times where there are going to be some dry times because even a carpet, you know, its useful life's about 7 years. So, you know, and then the hardwoods and the synthetics and all that sort of thing. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, you got to ramp up and then balance it out. It's like our business, right? We're ramped up right now because we're doing a lot of this, and we'll get back to normal. Hopefully, you know, when the next year. Yeah, right.
All right.
I would go talk to the DA. Go talk to the DA in your parish, wherever you are, and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. What can we do about it? Because I'm doing everything right. And, you know, as a arborist, I'm doing everything right. I got all my license.
All right, we got to go to break. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, thanks for the call. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Nicaud and Levine Hurricane Attorneys. Is your claim taking too long? You may be able to help. Call 504-470-0000.
Finding the perfect romantic gift you'll love is easy at Diamonds Direct this Valentine. With an expanded selection. Okay, you're going to have about 3 minutes till it's top of the hour. 5 years, zero interest financing. Your love is always our passion at Diamonds Direct, but especially on Valentine's Day. So we're holding nothing back. Pick any item.
I've got two holding right now. I have Lee from Metairie and a verbal abuse question, and I have Pat from Slidell on foreclosure.
Bangles, colored gemstones, and of course,
who's the first one?
Selection of diamonds and
Lee from Metairie.
Showcasing all new collections from our
How much time we're going to have?
3 minutes.
Nah, I don't think we can take
it. Choose for the one you love.
I don't know. What do you think?
5 years, zero interest financing.
I mean, that's a little tight.
He's gone. I have Pat from Slidell with foreclosure.
That's more than 3 minutes.
Okay, well,
the show.
Yeah. Okay, you're clear till the end of the show then.
WWL Radio. The NFL season all comes down to this. Super Bowl 56, with the Rams taking on the Bengals. To celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking all customers up with a risk-free same-game parlay. New and existing customers can place any same-game parlay of 3 legs or more on the Super Bowl, and if you don't win, FanDuel will refund you. Same-game parlays continue multiple bets from the same game into one wager for bigger payouts. Build your parlay your way with spreads, money lines, totals, Super Bowl props, and more. I'm taking Joe Burrow in the over for passing yards in the game. Already have an account? Just place your risk-free same-game parlays before the Super Bowl to qualify. New customers join today with promo code Garrick to enjoy 56-1 odds on either team to win the Super Bowl. You can turn a $5 bet into $280 cash. That's promo code Garrick on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. FanDuel, the official
The last in this check is DuckDuckGo after car shoes.
Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
Did you know there are more pollutants inside than outside your home? Those pollutants can aggravate colds, asthma, sleep habits, and respiratory ailments. Beef AC Heating and Electrical can install a state-of-the-art air quality system to remove virtually all the contaminants in your home. Call them today and save $250 off your new indoor air quality system. For a healthier home, for better breathing, and for fast relief, call Keith.
And now, electrical.
Red Olive, your premium windows, professionally installed. This is a special alert for all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an overpriced auto warranty or no warranty coverage at all. Due to the increase of new and used car prices, repair costs have the price of gas. People are keeping their cars for longer than ever, which is why CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on covered auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can save thousands for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. You could save thousands on future auto repairs. Our specialists are standing by for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-741-0753. Vehicle Protect Your Plan pricing is at an all-time low. Plus, drivers who purchase this coverage today will receive rental car options, free roadside assistance, and free towing. Call 800-741-0753 now for your free quick quote. That's 800-741-0753. What do you have to lose? Call 800-741-0753. Again, 800-741-0753.
I didn't search for website symptoms on Google, and now I'm being followed by uncomfortable ads. I hate feeling like my personal data is being bought and sold. I downloaded Duck.go and saw my potential right away. Take back your privacy with Duck.go.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinions shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Albert Nicaud, your weekend lawyers. Give us a call if you couldn't get into it today at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304, or on North Shore, 985-624-9697. And Albert, we got about a minute or two, but if you could just comment on the Hurricane Ida insurance claims. You basically do have homeowners have the law in their favor, if the insurance company does not respond. And, you just have to position your case or present it in a way where the law kicks in.
Right. You want to always communicate by email if you can. That way there's a paper trail of when you sent your documents, keep all your attachments, keep all your emails. There are two types of penalty provisions. One's a 30-day penalty provision, and that's based on your damages. And if they don't pay your damages within 30 days of proof of loss, there's a 50% penalty plus attorney's fees that can be awarded. The second is a 60-day penalty, and those are damages that if they don't pay your damages, what damages did you suffer as a result of non-payment, right? It's not based upon, let's say that your estimate is $100,000 and they don't pay you and you've suffered other damages. For instance, you've had to be out of your property longer, or you have mental anguish, pain and suffering, all that, aggravation, inconvenience, all that sort of thing. And you can get 2 times those damages, but you can't get 2 times the damages of your claims estimate, if that makes any sense. It's more like consequential damages that you get double damages for. Real quickly, Doug, back to the big game. With a victory by Joe Burrow today, he will become the 6th SEC quarterback to win the Super Bowl. We have Bart Starr, got 2 wins from Bama quarterback. Namath, 1 win, Bama. Stabler, 1 win, Bama. Peyton Manning, 2 wins, Tennessee, and Eli Manning, 2 wins. So he will be the first LSU quarterback and the 6th SEC quarterback to win a Super Bowl. So he's got a lot of years ahead of him. So, but I love his attitude, and he'll get knocked down and get back up.
Here's the thing about Joe Burrow. If the Bengals didn't have Joe Burrow, they'd be a 5-11 team. He's the difference between them being a 5-11 team and going to the Super Bowl. That is a difference maker. So, all right, that's a wrap. All Things Legal. We'll be back next week. So be good, be blessed. We'll see you next week on All Things Legal.